Hi, good evening. My name is Aiden Ledbetter. I'm a second-year student here at UC Davis, and I'd like to speak against the plans to reopen G Street to cars and traffic. For many students like myself, G Street is one of the best nightlife spots in Davis, and is one of the few spots that are fully pedestrian safe and accessible. As I'm sure many other students can attest to, going into downtown as a pedestrian or as a biker can be can be a pain, especially if there is high traffic on the streets. I myself have had a few close calls trying to cross the road going into downtown when there's a lot of car traffic. And it's a problem that's especially prevalent at night and on streets with high foot traffic. Streets like G Street, like E Street, like F Street, areas that are, huge areas for student traffic. Having a closed G Street means a safer and more accessible environment for students to eat, spend time, and perhaps most importantly, spend their money at our local businesses and restaurants. The future of downtown Davis is one that is both walkable and accessible to students and residents alike, and it's for this reason that I join the vast majority of speakers tonight in urging this council to keep G Street closed to traffic. Thank you.
Thank you to the public commenter. Next, please.
Good evening. My name is Jackson Bills. I'm a student at UC Davis, and I'm speaking strongly in support of keeping G Street closed to cars permanently. G Street is a vibrant city block on which I have many fond memories of hanging out with friends, getting a bite to eat, and enjoying the freedom of having the entire street to traverse without the fear of any cars around. G Street has become a hub of activity in downtown Davis, in large part because cars have not been allowed, and to take that away would be, frankly, tragic for the city. I understand that there have been concerns expressed about the economic impacts that come with closing the street off to vehicular traffic, but study after study has shown that opening streets up to people and not cars actually boosts sales at businesses. If we want to expand the economic output of our Davis businesses, we should be designing more of our streets to function as G Street does without automobile traffic. I also want to address points that have been made about the street's supposed ugliness in its current carless form. To me, the idea that we should allow cars and car parking spots back to a street that could be more aesthetically pleasing is ridiculous. If we want to improve the aesthetics of G Street, let's do that. Let's make it a nicer environment to be in, rather than allowing thousands of ugly metal boxes to be driving through the street every day. One final point that I'll make is the subject of the climate crisis. It is my belief that in the year 2023, we should not be prioritizing cars over people and other modes of transportation. We know the detrimental effects cars have on the environment, and we know that our policies should reduce their adoption and use. Were we to reopen this street, we would be doing the exact opposite of what we need to do to reduce emissions and ensure that Davis is adhering to its climate action plan. In closing, I implore the City Council to keep the street closed to cars and open to the people. Thank you.
My name is Sosvik, and I'm a first year at UC Davis. I'm speaking strongly in support of option 2, keeping G Street open to pedestrians and closed to car traffic. Friends and I regularly frequent the outdoor dining venues on G Street. Walking business to business on G Street not only increases traffic, but forces consumers, especially students, to frequent small, local, new businesses that they might not know of instead of just door dashing. Simply put, a pedestrianized G Street fosters community, higher consumer spending, and a safer, more sustainable Davis. The closed street will push willing customers away from their cars and to the many different, more sustainable ways of frequenting G Street. I hope that the city will take the concern of students like me who enjoy the car-free streets and feel safer and more comfortable frequenting these destinations when compared to the only car-accessible destinations seriously. I also hope that the city will take a look at the economic growth other cities and college towns, such as Woodland, have seen when streets are pedestrianized instead of going merely based on vibes and feelings. Parklets over parking. Thank you.
My name is Logan Rips. I'm a student at UC Davis, and I strongly support option 2, keeping the street closed to cars. In terms of safety, in terms of community enhancement, and in terms of environmental quality, I believe it is an immense benefit to the city to have this car-free zone. To those who feel they have been harmed from having the street closed, I can't pretend that your point of view doesn't matter, but as the City Council makes their decision, I hope they will take into account the massive outpouring of support at this meeting for keeping the street closed to cars from both residents and businesses. I recognize that there are problems with the current state of G Street, but I believe that these are problems that can be solved. We can improve the infrastructure, we can improve disability access. And when we do, it will attract even more people to G Street, which will continue to help the businesses there. Having this car-free zone is a net benefit to the city, and I hope it will be preserved. Thank you.
Thank you to the public commenter. Welcome.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Arman Zorinabov, and I am a second-year transfer student at UC Davis. As a student who solely relies on public transit and walking to get around, I am in strong support of permanently closing G Street to automobile traffic for the future. Embracing Davis's values of sustainability, walkability, and bike culture, opening G Street to automobile traffic directly goes against what the city stands for. Additionally, as someone active in Davis's nightlife, businesses, and thriving restaurants, maintaining the safe pedestrian and bike access is crucial. G Street being car-free is a clear backbone of Davis's downtown and is essential for business support from its student population, as they typically don't have cars and we use bikes and walking to get around. As someone new to Davis, areas like G Street with its core pedestrian and bike access is what made me fall in love with its downtown in the first place, and it should be further developed. Thank you.
Thank you to the public commenter. Welcome.